All right, it is time for Currently Reading Challenge TBR week number 2. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. This is going to be me picking my TBR for my second week of my Currently Reading Challenge. What I've done is I've put my currently reading titles into jars. I have my fiction in one jar and my non-fiction in another jar, and we're going to pick 3 fiction titles, 2 fiction titles, and those will be the 5 titles that I focus on for the week, and I aim to read 75 pages a day, 5 days out of the week, for a grand total of 375 pages for the week. That's the goal. Yes, that's the goal. So yeah, and I do my TBRs on Sundays and my weekly recaps on Mondays. And so I'm really excited about this. I continue to enjoy this. I did a whole month of this in May, and then I think I'm going to be doing this for October and November this year. And I did add a 3rd jar, which I shared on Instagram, but I don't know if this is overkill, so I'm not sure I'm going to pick something from this jar or not. Regardless, I will try and remember to explain what this is, and like what the idea behind this one is, and because it might be something that is helpful. And but I was all excited about it, and then I was like, wow, that might be competing priorities, so it might not be a good idea. So it's I always want to add more, which is why my currently reading is so high. So anyway, let's get to it, and let's get to the picking. So first up, we have fiction. So there are a whole bunch of titles in here. What will it be? What will it be? What will be the first one? I feel like I'm doing the lottery. It feels like it's going to be that one. It's upside down. Does that say heating up the holidays? Heating up the holidays! Okay. Yay! Heating up the holidays. Okay, so this is a Harlequin Blaze, and it is, I have 2 stories left. I have 1.5 stories left, actually, and 128 pages. So this is Holiday Novellas by Jill Shalvis, Jackie D'Alessandro, and Jamie Soberto. I've read the Jill Shalvis one, and I'm in the middle of the second one. And so the Harlequin Blaze is a line that's no longer with us, very sadly. It is one of the spicier lines, and these are all holiday novellas. I can't remember if I started it last year or the year before. I don't read seasonally. I don't know why I think I do or why I keep trying. It just doesn't work. So anyway, I started this a holiday season. Didn't finish it, hasn't come back to it. But because I don't read seasonally, I have no problem jumping into this one. And so yeah, the first one, I can't remember. I think the second one is about a firefighter and a woman who runs a floral shop. I got a little stumped in it though, because she was very clearly saying not interested, and then he found out, but she said she was seeing someone, and then he found out she wasn't seeing anyone, so he started pursuing her even though she said she wasn't interested, because he thought it was okay to do so because there wasn't someone else, which I'm like, actually you should just listen. But it is a romance, so you know they're gonna get together, but still. So I think that's what threw me off this one a little bit, maybe a little bit more than the holiday thing. So anyway, I'll be getting back to this one. I had another block with this one as well. It's unfortunately one that I have where it's a Kindle copy that doesn't have the page numbers, and it only has the percentages, and it's the one of 3 books in a bind up, and it's 3 novellas within so figuring out the pages is a pain, so I just stopped. So it's another reason I just stopped reading it. I enjoyed the first story. I can't even remember it at this point, but I will be reading that. That's my first choice. Okay, so next up we go to nonfiction. Let's see which will be the first one. Not gonna work. This one? It's skinny mini. A history of reading. I have that physically. I said that very strangely. Okay, so The History of Reading by Alberto Manguel. This is an international bestseller. I thought that was a subtitle. So this really is a history of reading. Now, this is not a history of books. It's a history of reading. So it's really, because I sometimes can be I'm not someone actually who likes books about books because often they spoil other books, and I'm like, no. But this is actually about the history of reading. It's fascinating. It is a bit of a drier read, and a bit academic, but it also has illustrations. But I actually really enjoy it, but I haven't gotten to it for quite some time. And yeah, it's definitely more, ooh, the shape of a book. Ooh, so curious. Okay, so this one I have 214 pages left. Wow, can you get any different than the titles we have picked so far? Okay, all right, next up, fiction. What will it be? What will it be? Why am I rolling it like this? Oh, this one just is being persistent, so let's go with it. Ooh, The Bourne Identity. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so this is one of the books that I have chopped up into sections. It's actually the first one I did because I was test casing it. It's 600 pages, or 599 pages. So this is the book that inspired the film, The Bourne Identity, which is one of my favorite films. I'm 64 pages in. And I'm enjoying it. I don't know if you would call it a thriller or a mystery or espionage, perhaps? Not sure. Wow, so I have a lot left on this one. I have 534 pages left. So that is a lot. I'm really curious to see what happens. I remember quite distinctly wow, that's a great end line. Yeah, I remember where I was when I left off. So, Bourne Identity, okay. Great. I'm excited. It's been a while since I've read that one. Okay, next up, second and last. Oh, is it gonna be? Oh, I don't know. Okay, whichever one falls first. Okay, so here we go. I'm so happy. Outline Alphabet's 100 Complete Fonts. I picked this last week and I was like nervous about it, and because I'm not really reading this one per se, but I am. This one is an activity. So it's Outline Alphabet's 100 Complete Fonts by Dan X Solo. And it really is what it says on the tin. Every page is an alphabet, in particular one that lends itself to being an outline. And I can't actually remember why I started it. I had some project in mind, or I wanted to use it for bullet journaling or adventure calendaring. Yeah, so this is really about sitting down to the page and working with the alphabet. So yeah, so I will you will find out in my wrap up how things went last time around for Outline Alphabets. I will leave things there because that's 2 weeks in a row of the same title. Ooh, that happened last time with the beach. I got it 2 weeks in a row. All right, last pick is fiction. Let's see. I guess it's that one. That's a little anticlimactic. Oh, goodness. Whew, The Progress of Love. And it's on the top, as was The Bourne Identity. Okay, so The Progress of Love by Alice Munro. This is a collection of short stories. Alice Munro is a Canadian author who I think is... I will always know Alice Munro for Lives of Girls and Women, I think is the one that I read. It's in the front. It's not in the front. And this is a Governor General Award winner for fiction. And yeah, I started this last year at some point. Canadian fiction always takes me longer. And these aren't too long. Oh, okay, 30 pages. Or 40 pages. 30 pages. Oh my gosh. And it's not too bad in terms of that. Wow, okay, so that's very different. But The Progress of Love. Okay, so obviously I'm feeling a little trepidation, which is one of the reasons why I haven't come back to this one. Short stories are something I find a little hard to work into my reading. Last week I got the Poe stories, which you'll find out how that went in my wrap-up. I guess I shouldn't say how things went, but it's just... it's the kind of thing that you like. I think often we feel like, oh, I'll read one a day and I'll be done in a week. And then that doesn't happen, and then it feels like, is there any way, and so I don't know, so maybe I'll aim to finish 2 or something, because these are actually quite long, And who says you need to read the whole short story in one go? I don't know. I did enjoy the ones that I read. I read one during a reading sprint of the Romance Readers Reading Hour last year at some point, or this year at some point. I can't remember. It's been a while since I got to this one. I've read 2 of the stories, and it has 11, I think. Wow, it was not 9 stories left. So I was not expecting that. So that's actually pretty, well, this is pretty heavy. This is pretty light. It's sort of thrill ride light. And then Heating Up the Holidays is pretty fast-paced, racy, romancy goodness. Then slower read, and then Outline Alphabets is a bit more of an activity. I actually think that that's a pretty good selection, some different paces. There's not too many fast ones. I guess this one and Heating Up the Holidays are fast ones. This one is really, really interesting and engaging. Let's see how many pages this adds up to, even though I never aim to finish all the pages. So okay, Progress of Love, I have 346 pages left. For Outline Alphabets, I have 95 pages left, so that's 440. Heating Up the Holidays, I have 1.5 stories left. It's 120 pages-ish, so 440 plus 130, 440, 540, 570. Then the History of Reading, I have 570, 214, so 570, 770, 770 plus 15, 785. Wow, that's a pretty low. And then the Born Identity, I have 534 pages, so I lost count at some point. Did we get to 8 something? 500, 700, 8,500, 9,500, 1,000, 1,300. Okay, so this actually makes this the longest amount of pages. So the goal is 375 pages a week. So I don't think I could even finish any of these. Maybe I'll try and finish Heating Up the Holidays. Maybe I'll try and finish up that one. Okay, so with that being said, I am not going to pull from this jar. What this jar is, I'll explain what it is though, just in case it's a helpful idea, this is a jar for, it's my currently reading series, but specifically for any series where I just need to read one more book. It can be finales, but isn't necessarily the finale. It could just be that the most recent book has been released and I haven't read it yet, or there's one odd situation where it's the first in a series of a spin-off world. So it's any series that I'm almost up to date with, but not just by one. So it's my currently reading series. So there are 11 titles in here. I'm not actually going to pick from this jar, but I do think I am going to choose my extra pick for the week. I actually already have a couple of things that I am reading, so I know I will be continuing those. So I am continuing to read Night Embrace by Sherilyn Kenyon. This is a buddy read with Anita. I'd imagine we'll probably finish this one this week, but I will have to check in with her about that. I did start reading Ghost Stories of Ontario by John Robert Colombo. Last year I read Toronto Ghost Stories. I can't remember if it was Ghost Stories or Paranormal Supernatural Tales, or if it was specific to Ghost Stories, but I read a Toronto one last year, so this year I'm reading an Ontario one. There's lots of stories. It's over 60, and I think they're all first-hand accounts that are like preempted, like that have a bit of a description, like a lead-in introduction, and so they're only a couple pages each, so it's been really interesting to read that. And then I am going to add in Pillars of Society by Ibsen. This is one where I'm reading the works of Ibsen, and this year I want to read, I think, 3 more, so I need to read one a month, and so this is the next one in the chronology of his works. He's a Norwegian playwright, and so that's actually pretty heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to pick from, I have a bunch of options here of different things that I could read, and not all of them are loading, and I'm trying to figure out what is the best one to go with. I am not sure. Dang, I should have picked from the jar. Well, one title that would be, what else? Heating Up the Holidays. Okay, I'm going to go with The Freddy Stories by Linda Berry. This is a collection of comics by Linda Berry, who's a comic book artist, illustrator, and teacher, and it's available on Scribd. And it is one of my goals this year is to read works by Linda Berry. This one's pretty short. It's 99 pages. It's a visual work. I think I can read it probably within the week, and tonally it is not like anything else that I have picked, which I think some of the other options were. So it's not in a series, so I'm not doing my last in a series jar, but I still think this is a great idea, and I think I would shoot myself in the foot if I picked another title, especially if there's some shorter works in there, but there are some longer works. So I think I have a pretty good set. I have Canadian fiction, a thrillery, a romance, history of reading, and an activity, plus a comic book, a play, and a paranormal romance and nonfiction ghost stories. That is well more than enough. I know it was probably one too many or two too many. But anyway, that's what I will be reading this week. It's going to be exciting. It's nice to have a couple of physical books and digital books. That is a really good combination for me. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, so that's what I will be reading this week. Let me know what you are reading this week. Let me know if you like the currently reading last in series jar idea. Should I have picked something, or would that get me into trouble? I think that might get me into trouble. It's too soon. Maybe after I finish a couple more titles, I will pick something from there. All right. Thank you so much for watching. And I am really looking forward to getting to reading. Yay! All right. See you soon.